I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. Steve Russell is back with us today. We talked about Iraq yesterday. I want to talk about Afghanistan today. Steve, thanks for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me back.
Now, Afghanistan is a whole different situation from Iraq. Tell us why.
Well, geographically, it's a landlocked country. It has very few natural resources. They produce nothing of value that's legal.
Yeah.
It was on the route of the old Silk Road, and it was a crossroads of commerce, but it's mostly a mountainous country. The people are, they're very nationalistic, and they're very fierce, but they're also very industrious and very friendly. I found the Afghan people when I served there to be marvelous people. They are going to survive. It's the type of government that they survive with that we can have a chance to influence. But they're going to need a lot more help than, say, Iraq, because Iraq could be self-sustaining and self-sufficient. Afghanistan, that's a little more problematic.
Mm-hmm. Now, the people are not Arabs. Tell us about their background.
Well, they're not. My understanding is that they're Indo-European. When you're in Afghanistan, it's striking to see all of the different appearances of Afghanis. I saw redheads, fair hairs. I saw green eyes, blue eyes. They probably combined outnumbered the brown eyes that you see. You saw Hazaras, which look more Chinese or Oriental. So you have a great mix of people. A lot of different tribes, 32 provinces, and almost as many tribes that exist there, but the majorities of them are Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, and the like.
So basically they have no industry?
Well, they do. I mean, they can grow. They do have herds. They do grow crops. But as far as having a great, vast mineral wealth or something of that where they could draw resources from, it's just not there.
It's a pastoral country, not an industrial
country.
Well,
and it's a largely mountainous country. And they can grow things, as we know. They grow a lot of poppies, and
yes.
Of course there's high demand for that. So if you're a farmer and you can get several $100s for an honest crop, or you can get, thousands of dollars for a dishonest crop, then that's a problem. And that's why we see some of the tribalism kind of in league with Al-Qaeda or the Taliban and some of these enemies, just really by convenience and association more than because they believe in those ideologies.
Now, the mountains are in the center of the country, and there are people who live on the east side and on the west side. I understand the United States, as engineers, have been helping to build roads to connect the country. Tell us why and how that's coming along.
Well, I had the privilege to be a part on some of the early strategic and operational planning with the Afghan mission back in late 2001, early 2002. And one of the things that we proposed was what we called a ring road, which basically would connect the major cities in Afghanistan that are in a circular around the central mountain region. The Hindu Kush Mountains are very severe. You have other mountain ranges there as well. But these cities, if connected and developed, you could throw pavement down, rail could follow, communication lines, and then that would create a centralized government that had a little bit better control. Many people saw cities like Herat in western Afghanistan that they're saying, well, they're heavily influenced by Iran. It was really pure geography, because that's the only people that they had range to trade with and to get goods and services. When you have roads that connect the Afghan cities, then there is a lot more commerce. They had it historically in the past with the ancient Silk Road. There's a lot of desire by bordering countries to have connecting roads, connecting rails, to put pipelines through to get gas and oil, from the north down to the south. But they have no ports. They have to go through Pakistan to get to the sea and to go east or west. And they border a lot of kind of troubled countries. Iran,
yes.
Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, China. These are all countries that are going to have an interest and influence in what goes on there.
And tell us about Obama. I'm sorry.
Osama
bin Laden.
Yes, yes. Osama, our government still believes that he is in the mountainous regions in isolation. I have no reason to disbelieve that, because when I was still serving, Many of the things that would be announced in our from the Department of Defense were absolutely true, and people are, oh well, we don't trust them, and it was like, no, you can take this to the bank. This is what we're allowed to say, and this is what we know. But it's complicated. If you don't want to be found and you're in a mountainous region, let's say that I didn't want to be found and there was a manhunt for me, and you've narrowed it down that I'm in the Central Rockies, and I don't have any family associations that I'm connected with, none of my friends. I use proxies. I'm never seen in public. I never do anything commercially. I don't do anything except hide. It would be very difficult to find me even in our country. Yes. Add that to the complication of Pakistan. We just can't go traipsing in a delicate situation like Pakistan that is a sovereign country. There are religious fanatical radicals, Islamicists, that if given the premise could incite an overthrow of a Pakistani government. And so a secular governance in Pakistan, we want to succeed. If it doesn't, then their nuclear weapons could wind up in the wrong hands. So to make irresponsible statements, well, we just need to go in there and take care of business, it's much easier said than done.
Yeah, how about that? Well, we know the problems in India this past week, and the terrorists who went and killed all those people in the capital city of India came from Pakistan. Give us your assessment on that. What could happen in the future?
Well, you will often see between India and Pakistan accusations flying back and forth. You have the Kashmir problem to the north, which has been contested over as long as people have been inhabiting it. You have a difference in religion and a difference in race among those between India and Pakistan. And you have to remember, Pakistan and Bangladesh both were once part of India, and they seceded from India in a pretty violent war, not very many decades ago. And so these flare-ups still occur. But the Pakistani government has come out and said, look, we're willing to help with the investigations. We're not behind this. This is not our doing. And people go, yeah, right. Well, they've said the same things about attacks in Afghanistan. We should take them somewhat at their word, because if you have rogue elements that go out and commit crimes, that doesn't necessarily mean that your government supports them. And I believe Pakistan when they say that they were not behind these terrorists. They have enough on their hands. You remember the murder of Bhutto and some of these other things with their own government. They're not looking to cause more unrest than dealing with their own sets of problems. So I don't see that they sponsored this at all, but that's my view.
And hopefully then a war won't break out between the two countries.
That is our hope.
They're both nuclear powers.
That's exactly right.
Be devastating for the entire world.
Well, and I think because they both possess nuclear weapons, and because the world community is so involved with both of them in commerce and in a number of other diplomatic ways, that I think the calm heads on both sides will prevail.
Nevertheless, somehow, some way, one of these days, this world is marching toward Armageddon. We don't know exactly how it's going to unravel, but we do know that the world is moving toward a one-world government, and war is inevitable. It's written in this book. So keep looking up and trust in Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. That's the only way to survive, because this world is headed for God's judgment. I'm J.R. Church. See you again tomorrow with our analysis of the news.